Everyone's Joe Waxman. Hey, what's up, everyone? It's been a while since I made a video, but things are really exciting on the world stage, and I wanted to make a video about Trump's inauguration astrology, which I think is really interesting, and just already it's very, very telling about what kind of next 4 years we're going to see in America and around the world. Um, so let's get into it. Before I share my screen, guys, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and book a reading with me. I am available for astrology readings. Just email me at macrogoldmachine@yahoo.com. Alrighty. So this is all really, I mean, it's amazing what's going on. Very shocking. No surprise, Uranus is right up front on in the first house. So we have January 20th, 2025, 12 p.m., Washington, D.C. So this is the chart. This is the moment he was inaugurated. This is the moment he was signed in, right? As president, which is we got Uranus rising. I'm no stranger to that. I have it myself. Here we have in Taurus. It is retrograde. So the retrograde, once again, I've explained this before, but the retrograde is going to be like if we have the sun here, we have the earth here, the retrograde Uranus obviously is on the other side. It's not, you can see the relationship, but it's still in the retrograde motion, right? When it's slightly more opposed to the sun, when it gets closer to the sun, it's going to station and then go direct, right? As the sun progresses. But right now, it's still in that retrograde motion. And the retrograde motion indicates um, more independence, more authenticity, because it's less go with the flow. It's less go along with what's the status quo, whatever the sun's doing. The sun represents worldliness, right? It represents the masses. And the retrograde planets are always going to be doing their own thing. They're like, well, you know, we're not going with all the what everyone else do. We're going to do our own thing. So there's a lot of redo, repeats, but also returns to the past as we've seen, right? What happened with the Panama Canal? He wants it back. That's a retrograde motion. We want it back, right? And what is Taurus, right? There's two signs that represent land. One of them is Taurus. Taurus actually represents the earth, right? The physical earth. It's really having to do with earth. And he's all about, getting land back or for the first time, you know. Um, Cancer would be the other one. That's more like the home environment, right? But actual physical earth and land, it's that's Taurus, right? So he's very concerned with land, right? He wants to make Canada the 51st state. I mean, that's kind of a joke, but it's also his way of negotiating, right? It's part of his negotiation tactics, like just egging people, trolling people, and it works, right? He's a master negotiator. Um, Greenland, right? Panama Canal. Oh, Gaza. I mean, my mind is blown. He wants to take over Gaza. Like, whether you think that's a good idea or bad idea, I think it's a great idea because there's nothing but war and trouble. There's no way that you're ever going to get the Israelis off there unless you commit genocide, right? So it's like this idea, like people have, like, oh, one day we're going to defeat the Israelis. No, you're fucking not. And what you're asking for is major, major war. That's what you're asking for. So all these like, you know, hippy dippy, Antifa, woke, blue hair, bull ring, in the septum. I mean, they're just dumb. They're just really stupid people. They're really, really ignorant people who have no fucking clue what they're talking about. And they're just full of hatred, right? So we can just completely write them off because they're just dumb as shit. They're just like, you belong. It's not even worth talking about. You cannot support terrorism, right? It's not a talking point, right? So I don't, there's no really good, I think it's the best solution. Bring them back, send them back to where they came. None of them are indigenous to that land, right? Because it's Jewish, it's Jewish land historically. These are Arab. They come from Egypt. They come from uh, Iraq. They come from Jordan. They come from everywhere, Saudi Arabia, right? But they don't come from that area, right? Very, very few of them were there historically. Maybe a small handful. But anyway, I mean that's besides the point. it's, I mean, disagree with it. I don't really care. I'm not here to defend it. You maybe don't like it, but anyway, it's relevant to the Uranus in Taurus retrograde, right? It's mind blowing what he's doing, and that seems to be a focal point for for this presidency, this term. Uranus being very radical, being very outside the box, political, revolutionary, and um, kind of like an awakened, aware mentality, right? It doesn't, Uranus in Taurus is probably not the most electric sign it could be in, but it still is powerful, and it's going to deal with Taurian things like land, also money. We should see some huge shifts in finances, money, money markets. Um, Markets are very Aquarian, but we do have, I mean, we also have that in play, as well as 11th house activation, right? So there could be a lot of shifts, radical shifts of all kinds, in having to do with food. Food will is RFK Jr. I mean, oh my God, they better vote him in, because that's going to be a major issue if they don't. But that's another, it's not just Trump, it's this whole team, right? Food, land, money, these are all getting a major overhaul with Trump in these next 4 years, right? Then we have Venus as the ascendant lord, exalted in Pisces, conjunct Saturn, and then we also have a little wider conjunct Neptune and North Node, right? So Venus is exalted. That's going to represent um, I mean, in a natal chart, it represents the body. So it's going to have to do with the physicality of this administration, the identity, the core physical identity. Um, and it's conjunct Saturn. Um, Venus and Saturn are not terrible together, because Saturn is exalted in Venus's sign of Libra. So Saturn does well. Venus is already exalted, and Saturn hauls in Venus's excesses, right? When they're conjunct, right? With Venus and Saturn, these people are tend to be much more conservative and straight edge. And that's good for especially in the sign of Pisces, where Pisces is so liberal, ultra liberal. The Venus Saturn conjunction is really going to give it some contractive energy, some conservative uh, energy. The Venus in Pisces by itself is very beautiful, right? It's a combination of extreme beauty, right? Extreme love and liberal compassion, right? So there's that element, but the Saturn's really going to haul it in. And again, like, there are higher and lower expressions of these things. So if it's like, you know, people are going to act them out in different ways, but I'm looking at the energy of what I'm seeing, right? Um, you know, Saturn in Pisces can also be kind of um liberal, like almost like a liberal dictatorship, like liberal um you need Mars's support, but you kind of have it here with the Mars and Cancer, almost like militant liberal dictatorship. But that would be more like on the Antifa front. But I'll look at that um, um, later, I guess. We'll get to that. There's this very strong 11th house influence, and that's also very good for politics, for seeing the big picture, for community orientation, for bringing people together. Right? There's yeah, that's very strong. And it's also disposited by Jupiter in Gemini retrograde, I should say. And Jupiter in the second house. Jupiter in the second house is great for wealth, right? So not so good in Gemini, but um, there could be. So here's what I think. I think money will come through negotiations, right? Gemini, Jupiter, Gemini, retrograde. So he's doing a lot of creative negotiating, and he is a master at that. Um, Hate him all you want. He's an excellent negotiator, right? Uh, so a lot of negotiations are just going to come purely from Gemini and talk and rhetoric, right? Like he can just, tweet, make a speech, and even before he ever puts anything into law, people are already moving, doing his bidding because that's the kind of man he is. It's not just Jupiter and Gemini retrograde, it's Donald Trump presiding over this chart, right? So we have to realize we have to ground astrology into real life always. It's never an abstract thing where we just put up a chart and we forget about everything else and we just look at the chart. I mean, there are places for that, but like in real life, astrology has to be applicable to what we know about real life, right? It's never a blind reading. I don't like blind reading charts. You apply it to what we know about real life, right? And what we know about real life is that it's not just anybody running this country, it's Donald Trump. Right, so it's Jupiter and Gemini retrograde. So yeah, um, and Jupiter has dignity. It's in Jupiter's balance, so that's good, right? So I do expect, and it's the 11th Lord. 11th house is a money house. So 11th and second combinations, especially in Vedic, that's a yoga for money, right? So I do expect wealth to be created in this four year term. It already is. He's already brought in over I mean, at least on paper, a lot of money, right? 500 billion for the AI. Saudi Arabia said they're going to invest 600 billion, right? So that's a lot of money coming in. And then Doge is cutting money, right? Elon Musk cutting expenses rather, saving money. Um, Yeah, and then Gemini is disposited by Mercury. Mercury's in Capricorn in the ninth quadrant, ninth whole sign house, but it's pretty close to the MC, so it's gonna have the influence there. And so there's gonna be a lot of speeches and Mercury in Capricorn is gonna be very upright and dry and communication is going to be very leadership oriented and authoritarian, right? I mean, we do have this it's too much to, it's like trying to get everything out at once. Um, so yeah, there's going to be a lot of public speaking, a lot because Mercury's ruling the second house, speaking about everything that's going on in a very Capricornian kind of way. With the MC in Capricorn in the ninth house, there should be a strong element of morality coming to the forefront, right? Ninth house, the moral law, right? So that it's going to be a lot of um, appealing to morality in the public eye. Uh, so this is right, this is not right. We're going to do and in Donald Trump fashion, of course, that's all part of it. Um, and we're already seeing that, right? Like, he's televised, like he's all over the internet speaking, his tweets, uh, it's everywhere, right? He's not hiding in the basement. We don't know where, we're not guessing, we're not asking where's our president, right? Like we were for the past 4 years. There also seems to be a quintile there, so it's a creative, very creative expression of speech, and that's good because there's some contact. Mercury can dignify Jupiter. There's also a strong quintile with Jupiter, Neptune. So this is going to be a very idealistic, right? Neptune, Pisces, is sort of the even more idealistic or even like bigger ideals, like global ideals, right? Versus like a Sagittarius, Jupiter, which is more like um or even Aquarian ideals. I mean, there's different ways to ideals, but yeah, this is a very like uh idealism on a big scale, right? Because Neptune, Pisces is nebulous. So like very big agenda, big dreams, huge dreams, right? Shooting for the stars. I mean, it's Neptune and Pisces North Node, Venus, Saturn, but with some practicality. Saturn's going to bring the practicality, the law, the structure, right? It's going to make it solid, making dreams solid. Neptune Saturn combinations are create some of the strangest phenomena you'd ever witness because Neptune is all about dreaming and imagination, and Saturn's all about making things physical and dense and bringing down bringing it into the dense vibrations, right? So this is all about having this grand vision, and especially in the 11th house, right? And then bringing it down, bringing it into reality, right? It's tied into the Jupiter in the second house, so a lot of communication, right? Second house is voice, so speeches, right? Jupiter, Gemini, excessive speeches, and then the Mercury, right? So people are going to be tired of seeing Donald Trump speaking, but better than him hiding in the basement, right? Um, Sun right in the 10th whole sign house, right? Conjunct Pluto at the same degree as the Jupiter Saturn conjunction that we saw in 2020, right? Uh, which was, the great conjunction, we call it. So this is the activation of that great conjunction at 0 degrees Aquarius. Sun conjunct Pluto's major transformation of everything, of society, right? Sun, um, so the way I refine my understanding of sun quite a bit. The way I understand sun versus ascendant is the physicality of the body. The sun is the ascendant. I'm not sure if I said that correctly. The ascendant is the physicality, the body, where the sun is more like the spirit or the soul, right? So, um, Sun being an Aquarius conjunct Pluto is like the soul of society. Aquarius is going to be transformed under this administration, and it's obvious. It's already happening, right? Like, is anyone in any doubt that that's what's happening? I mean, this is like major, major, mind-blowing stuff. Like every day is like Christmas for me. Anyway, it might be like hell for some people whose ideology is not in line with this. I'm sorry for you. I really am. But for me, it's like Christmas because he's getting rid of all the government corruption. He's gutting, draining the swamp. I mean, he's a man on fire. He's a man with a mission this time around. He's not playing around. Moon's in Libra. I mean, this is a highly charged chart. Like, I don't know if you guys realize Moon's in Libra, but not only that, look at Moon. It's conjunct Lilith, which is the apogee perigee of the Moon, which means that it shows the distance from the Moon. Moon moves in ellipsis, so it's like either very close to the Earth or very far from the Earth or somewhere in between. This shows that movement. This shows that the Moon is farthest from the Earth at this point when it's conjunct Lilith. Um, when it's opposite Lilith, that means it's very close, right? So this moon is a very distant moon. It is the exaltation lord of the ascendant. So, and you can see this very strong septile. We'll see how tight it is soon, but septile. So there is contact to the ascendant. It is dignifying the ascendant, and the ascendant is already exalted, ascendant lord, right? But so we're getting extra dignity for the ascendant with the moon being a very tight triseptile. The septile is not a major aspect; it's a hidden aspect. But when it's really tight, it's there, right? It's relevant. So we're getting this very far distant moon, and the far distant moon is means less emotional, less personal. So he's able to step back and see the big picture with this very far moon, a moon that's going to be small when you see it, right? If we were going to look at the moon at that time, if we were able to see the moon, it would be very small in the sky. And so that moon is farther from the Earth. That moon can see the Earth in a bigger picture, and it's more detached, right? It's less emotional. And that's a good thing. And it's in Libra. So this is going to enhance business, negotiations, deals. It's in the sixth house. So it's in a house of service, of work, hard work, right? Uh, it is the exaltation lord. It's also the fourth lord, or third whole sign house, but the IC, dispositing Mars. So it's going to deal with land and the people. Moon already represents the people, but it's dealing with the land and the people, and it's showing that the homeland, right? It's showing that there's going to be an element of service that is coming out of this administration that is of the people and for the people, right? And it's going to work through equality and business negotiations and fairness. Libra, right? All Libra ideals and good relationships. And so this is a really nice moon, I think, right? Very balanced. uh, and definitely works well with the ascendant in this position. And it's going to have a hidden influence on the ascendant, right? We're not going to really see this connection, but we're going to feel it. And Moon conjunct the ascendant or Moon aspecting the ascendant is well loved because then you see it's like the heart on the sleeve. With the septile, it's going to be more obscured, but there's going to be an element. We're going to feel it. We're not going to see the heart on the sleeve, but we're going to feel it, right? We're going to feel the kind of caring and concerning that the moon naturally represents. Um, from the core body, the core identity of this administration. Uh, We do have this Mars in Cancer retrograde conjunct the IC, which is troubling because if you notice, there's been a lot of devastation related to this Mars in Cancer retrograde. Planes are crashing, planes are falling out of the sky, right? Helicopters are crashing into planes are, plane crashed in Philadelphia, car accidents, fire, right? So what I think Mars is representing the 12th house and the 7th house. So 12th house, foreign thing, right? What do we know about foreign things? Well, there is trouble brewing, uh, foreign others, right? On the ground, land, homeland. So this actually represents some terror. I'm expecting some acts of terrorism, in a show of resistance to everything that Trump's trying to do with the deportation, with the land, all the rhetoric stuff. People are mad about that. It's okay that they're mad. This needs to happen. There will be some blowback. There will be some pushback. Mars in Cancer retrograde is violent, right? It's a violent combination. It's not going with the law, the sun. It's emotional. It's not rational. It's hypersexual and violent, and it's just like I don't care. It's terrorism. This is a sign of terrorism. So there will be, I expect, some terrorist attacks, and it's in the fourth house, conjunct the IC. I mean, technically third whole sign house, but conjunct the IC. So you know, terrorizing neighborhoods, right? Terrorizing whole entire neighborhoods. And it's sextile Uranus. So, um, I mean, that's interesting. There could be, Uranus Mars combinations are explosive. So again, and then we're getting the double land influence, right? Both here with the Cancer and IC, and then Uranus Taurus, both retrograde. So I think the terrorists could use there could be some acts of violence, terrorism, bombs, things of that nature. At least, attempts. Do I think it's going to be a major, major problem or setback? No, I don't. Actually, because of the Uranus, you know, Uranus in the first house is going to work both ways. It's a double-edged sword. It's gonna provide this administration with tremendous sort of intelligence, awareness, insight, brilliance, um, technology, right? But at the same time, the terrorists are going to have some of their own because it's also supporting them. But then it's like a back and forth, right? But then the Trump administration is also going to have a close connection to the terror. They're going to have an eye on the terrorists as well, right? So it's going to, they're going to both play their games, but I think definitely this administration has the upper hand. Um, so we do have South Node in Virgo at the anaretic degree in the fifth house. Um, which relates to Mercury because that's the dispositor. And again, so entertainment, right? We're gonna see Trump and his administration on the TV all the time, and it's gonna be so entertaining. Um, and we might get a little bit sick of it, South Node, in the fifth house, right? It's gonna be like, oh my God. Like Trump said, we're gonna be getting sick of winning, right? There is this interesting T square here with Moon, Chiron, and Mercury. And then Chiron in the 12th house, I feel like represents foreign leaders because Chiron's in Aries and it's in the 12th house. And Aries is going to be about leadership, individuality, war, aggression, but like also like um, Chiron, Chiron and Aries can represent unique leaders, right? So leaders of nations. Um, I know that's some people would scratch their head at that one, but Aries represents, among other things, I mean, one thing is leadership, right? Because it's the premier, it's the fire starter. It often can represent that the head, right? Like the head of a nation, right? Foreign things, 12th house represents foreign. So foreign leadership. Chiron can be about the thing that is one of a kind, right? So this can represent foreign leaders, right? So that we're gonna see a lot of activity with foreign leadership. Um, and here we have the moon in Libra, so deals, negotiations, and we're just seeing that with Netanyahu. Love him, hate him, it's happening, right? And it's going to be met by this Mercury in Capricorn, so leadership, wheeling, dealing, communication, right? Opposition is, you know, opposition's an opposition. It's an opportunity for engagement. It's two people facing off, negotiating, dealing, talking, sometimes agreeing, sometimes disagreeing. But it's not necessarily bad, not necessarily good. And the T square, at least it's Mercury. At least it's going to be about, let's talk this out. Let's use our thinking brains to work out a deal, right? And it's going to be through the ninth house, morality, higher knowledge, philosophy, right? The moral law is very much the ninth house sort of signification. Um, so yeah, I think that's wheeling, dealing with foreign leaders, and not necessarily foreign all heads of company. It could be foreign. It's just going to be about this even kind of an Elon Musk situation, right? Where Elon Musk somewhat represents something foreign because he's born in South Africa. He is a leader, Aries, and he is a Chiron, a one of a kind, and he's dealing with the people in a negotiating kind of way, right? Wheeling, dealing, squaring, negotiating, talking, communicating. Um, let's see. Jupiter's also ruling the eighth house, right? So now we're talking about money that is tied in with other people, right? So there's going to be a lot of talk with this Jupiter retrograde in Gemini in the second house and Jupiter's bounds, mind you, about finances and the finances that relate to, are we giving money to these people, that people? Are we subsidizing them in this way or that way? What about the tariffs? All the money negotiations are going to come up. They're all going to be talked about. And having, all the with the shared resources, that's all up for negotiation and talking. Um, let's look at the sheets here and just to get a better idea of some certain things. Um, Mars, Jupiter, Uranus retro, Venus is slow. Look at this. Mercury's just slightly out of bounds. Is it 23? Anyway, I think it's just slightly out of bounds. I always forget the exact number. Um, but then Mars is out of bounds. Mars retro in Cancer and out of bounds. So we know this Mars is a violent Mars, right? And we're just seeing the planes falling out of the sky. And where we know like terrorism is just itching to light a bomb somewhere and kill people. It's crazy, crazy, crazy terrorists, right? Um, as if that's going to get anything done. It has the opposite effect. I mean, it harms their cause. Terrorists always lose in the end. They don't gain anything. Um, anyway, but this Mars is out of bounds, so it's extreme. So yeah, there's going to be violence, unfortunately, but can't have everything. What we see here, what I like to look at here are the tightest aspects because this really shows what's in play, the most significant when we look at like what the really tightest aspects. And one of I mean, the very tightest aspect is the moon triseptile, the ascendant, and that's great because it's a moon in Libra, so very fair, balanced, thinking moon, right? Moon represents the people. Moon represents also the intellect here, the third house, and the IC, yeah, fourth quadrant anyway. Triseptile, the ascendant, where it's the exaltation lord. So it's going to be hidden, but that's really some really strong connection there between the people, the mind of this administration, and fair, balance, equity, dignity. It's a really good um, aspect to have. Um, I mean, it's not like there couldn't be better ones, but this is good, right? Especially because of the dignity and Venus is ruling both of them, and it's exalted, right? So that's really nice. Um, you know, Moon is satisfaction, right? Moon is the heart. So if the moon is satisfied, the people are satisfied. We're all satisfied. So like the heart of this, the heart and the body, I mean, it's going to be a really powerful 4 years. Deeply satisfying. For some of us, I guess some people are going to be very, very hurt, but hey, can't win them all. Um, MC, Septile Venus, that's really nice. Um, there's no dignity um, um, gained here, but Venus is already exalted, and the fact that it's aspecting the MC is good, right? It shows that um, the public. I think it's reaching the public. There's less misunderstanding, right? Because this is the ascendant lord, so it has everything to do with the body of the physicality of this administration, reaching the MC, which is the public, the goal, sort of the mission of this administration, and being able to reach their goals, further influenced by the sun and Pluto, powerful, transforming. Um, yeah. Um, some other ones. Mercury square moon. That's that's fine. I mean, it's not great, but it's you know tied into the Chiron too. We already looked at that. Pluto septile moon. There's a lot of septiles here. Pluto septile moon. So Pluto, however you want to look at it, uh, things are definitely going to change. Things are definitely going to transform because Pluto is influencing the sun. The sun's ruling the fourth whole sign house, right? So the land, the home. Pluto is changing our home into Aquarius, Aquarian ideals, Aquarian community, Aquarian networks, internet, Aquarian uh, um, utopian ideals, social networks, technology, growth, right? People, communities. These are all going to be very powerfully represented and transformed in this administration. Then the moon in Libra, septile Pluto, also the moon representing the third whole sign house, but the IC as well, dispositing Mars in the sixth house. So it's also relating to the heart of the people, right? The moon, the land, the home, both the sun and the moon in this case represent the people, and they're both aspecting Pluto quite strongly. So the deep transformation of America, of the people, of what we stand for, right? And a return, the retrograde, Uranus retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, returning to something, make America great again, right? Retrograde. Again is the retrograde. Um, some people say America was never great. I'm not one of these people who likes to demonize the past. Leave the past alone. The past was the past. Forgive. forgiveness is in order here, where nobody's perfect. You look back at the past of anything, it's not perfect. You can't just idealize, you know, people, that were not living under Western civilization and then demonize Western. It's no, come on. Everything's front and back. Everything's good and bad. It depends how you look at it, but we got to move forward, right? You can't move forward by demonizing the past. I hate that. That's wrong. It's just a way to ruin society. Um, the patriarchy. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Anyone who says the patriarchy, I'll slap you right through the fucking internet. Ooh. It's very annoying. It's very low vibrational, people complaining about the past. Anyway, moon, septile, sun, septile, moon, ascendant, septile, sun. Man. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Jupiter, quintile, biquintile, Mercury, North Node, quintile, Jupiter. So yeah. Oh, Venus, Venus sextile Mercury. That's really nice. Venus, Mercury. I mean, the dignity is no, there's no enhancement of dignity, but it's still really nice. It's just nice. Venus and Mercury combinations, very artistic and creative and expressive. Um, so yeah, a lot of good aspects, a lot of really amazing combinations. And then I wanted to pull up some other things. We're going to pull up Donald Trump's chart, and just look at how he's going to relate to this administration, this term, right? So Jupiter's in Gemini. It's not really at the same degree, but Jupiter is supporting his Sun, North Node, Uranus. Um, what's really good is this Moon is pretty much conjunct his Jupiter. So the inauguration moon is conjunct his stationary Jupiter. And this is why he wrote The Art of the Deal, because he's such a good deal maker. Like he really, it's not just like all talk, you know. He's got Jupiter stationary. There's no more powerful planet than a stationary planet. It's in the second house. Jupiter in the second house makes him very wealthy, but it's in Libra. Libra, the sign of negotiations, the sign of wheeling and dealing. And hey, let's shake hands. Let's make a deal. Let's do business. You and me, we're partners. We're gonna shake hands. It's the law, right? Um, his ability to make creative deals is unparalleled, right? Jupiter stationary in Libra, Chiron Libra, Neptune Libra. It's idealistic, it's creative, it's one of a kind, it's it's imaginary, but it's real, right? Neptune is like, he's thinking outside the box with Neptune and Chiron here in Libra, and then the Jupiter and stationary. So he's really going his ability to negotiate is going to be right on par with the heartbeat of this time and place, this administration, right? The moon is the people. It's ruling the fourth house, the IC, right? And moon in general rules the people. And so it's the exaltation lord of the ascendant. So it's very powerful here. And so is he going to make America wealthy again? Probably, right? He's very in tune with what's going on right now. Um, and look, we do have a grand air trine here. Really nice one. I mean, a series on the third leg. Um, that's a series return, actually, which is interesting. Um, Pretty close. But still, yeah. Grand air trine, so like a lot of brilliance in this combination. And what else? Oh, so this Mars lines up with his Saturn Venus, right? He has Saturn Venus. This administration has Saturn Venus. So he knows. I mean, he's very in tune with that. And like, notice he doesn't drink. He doesn't drink or do drugs. He doesn't smoke. He's very conservative. And that's the Venus Saturn combination, right? That's going to haul in all the excessive. Venus loves to enjoy and indulge, right? That's why it's like um, it's Lucifer. Venus is Lucifer, right? The morning star. It's that the overindulgence is Venus's shadow side, right? Um, Saturn hauls that in, but he's going to have a great understanding of what's going on in the ground with any. potential terrorist threats, the violence, because of this combination. Venus is ruling his third house, so his intellect, his mind, um, his MC, right? So his uh career, public direction, right? Like you know, sort of mission. The MC is sort of like your mission in life, right? Your public mission, um, your public vision, your dream, your career dream goal. Um, and then Saturn is the sixth and seventh. So particularly being in the sixth house, very academic, very let's get that sharp, you know, probing intellect, analytic. So he's going to have a great understanding of the violence, of any potential violence or terrorists on the ground, and he's going to know exactly how to handle it, exactly what to do with it. Um, so yeah, uh, I just wanted to make those comparisons, and that's pretty much um, yeah. I don't think there's anything else. I mean, the moons are sextile, so that's good. Yeah, so it's just really harmonious. Uh, what the other thing I wanted to look at, just briefly, is um, the United States with secondary progressions, which I've already looked at, but it's relevant to look at it again because we just had the secondary progressed new moon in Pisces, right? So new vision, new dream, new aspirations, new spiritual revival, which many people are definitely experiencing, um, and this sort of very high idealism that we're saying. And a very strong thing is that Jupiter's stationary, secondary progressed Jupiter, which is the ascendant lord, and dispositing this secondary progressed new moon, secondary progressed lunation cycle in Pisces, fourth whole sign house, right? So this Jupiter is highly significant that is stationary for America. Huge, huge transitional point, huge turning point, because Jupiter was retrograde for the last over 100 years, right? Since the 20s, since like right before Prohibition, right? So that it went retrograde, and then we had Prohibition, and then we had all sorts of like um, secrecy and craziness. Um, because it's in Cancer, because it's in the eighth whole sign house, and it's retrograde. So then it's like America sort of believed in secrecy and hidden things. This is backed up by Mercury. Mercury in also retrograde in Cancer. Like think CIA, think subversion, think in secret intelligence, hidden things, everything kept from the public, right? Where there's on the surface, there's laws, restrictions, um, negate like negative kind of rampant abuse and secrecy and hidden things going on in this Cancer. Like what are like you're not going to know anything. It's so obfuscated, it's so obscured, it's so hidden and secret and deep. And then the stationary is a chance. It's a very powerful turning point, right? CIA, hey, I mean, what is happening is like mind-boggling. It's like too much to even like go over everything, but they just handed the CIA like resignation letters like for everyone in the CIA. Um, Kash Patel taking over the FBI, USAID, which is like the America's deep state um slush fund is completely gutted. I mean, this is like mind-blowing stuff. Like, and anyone who's like thinks this is all bad, I'm sorry, but you're deeply, deeply controlled by the status quo mainstream media. Like the deep state owns you. You're just an NPC. I'm sorry, wake the fuck up. That's not the way it worked. Like, I mean, you cannot be on the side of like these secret hidden agencies who are taking all our money and like going overseas and like manipulating foreign government. That's not healthy. That's not, they're making us all poor, right? Like they're robbing us blind and doing all sorts of stuff that nobody asked for, and they're making themselves rich. That's all the retrograde crap in the, Mercury, Jupiter retrograde in the eighth house in Cancer, right? It's so hidden, so much water, so deep, right? There's no coming out of that. The Jupiter stationary is like profoundly transformative for America. It's about to go direct. It's about to not be subversive because we don't want the Jupiter retrograde in the eighth house in Cancer. Or I mean, Mercury's retrograde natally, but and Jupiter is direct in the obvious natal chart, but it was retrograde in secondary progress. So yeah, the all that secret hidden stuff, uh, totally um totally went way overboard the past like well over 100 years. About 100 years, right? We had like 100-year section of total subversion, right? Like where we were just like where the secret society, secret hidden, CIA, Secret Service, secret intelligence were just like doing their own thing, rogue agencies. Look at Mercury. Mercury is approaching a quincunx to natal Mercury, and it's in the eighth from natal Mercury retrograde in Cancer in the eighth house, right? So when we have the inconjunct, you look to see which is in the eighth, which is in the sixth. Whatever is in the eighth position, right? It's the eighth. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. We count by sign. Eighth. That's in the power position. So the secondary progress Mercury in Aquarius is boss, right? Eighth means boss, dominant, um, dominant position over natal Mercury, right? Think of this as like you could say representative of the CIA. Mercury, Cancer, retrograde, eighth house, CIA. Mercury in Aquarius approaching a quincunx to natal Mercury is Mercury in Aquarius, the internet, the technology, the Elon Musk, right? Being like, hey, CIA, we see you. We got we got AI on you. We're tracking you down. We got the 19-year-old, computer geniuses like hacking all your stuff. We see you. You're found out. We're your boss. We're your daddy now, right? That's what's happening. So that I mean that's like nuts, right? And Mercury's coming to conjunction with the moon, so it's lining up with the natal moon. Like the people are in support of this, right? People not really in support of the CIA doing all of this crazy shit that nobody knows about underground. And I'm not just the CIA, right? The CIA, I mean, by all the deep state networks, right? And the people are like, no, we're not really for that. We're for freedom. This is Aquarius, freedom. Freedom for the people, right? So the intelligence is catching up with the people right about now. We're in an epic, epic, epic time. I mean, this is like what a powerful time to be alive. We're witnessing it all firsthand, and it's all right here in astrology um, for us to see. Like, I mean, it's mind blowing stuff. I just want to see how long it'll take for Mercury to go direct. Oh, no, no. Shifted a degree. It's already okay. There we go. So, yeah, we're already in May 2027. So it's going to be stationary through a good portion of more than half of his term because I guess the November 2028 will be the election. 2029, January will be the new president. But Jupiter will be stationary for most of his term, and that's incredibly significant, especially considering it is the dispositor of it's the ascendant lord, fourth lord, and dispositor of the lunation cycle. So it's going to be extremely influential. Uh, Turning point, huge turning point. Conjunct the sun, natal sun. If we pull up fixed stars, okay, Ceres. Um, yeah, Sirius is a little further behind, but okay, still close. Was wondering how close it was to that. Let's put it back. All right. Um, Anything else? I think that's it, guys. Really, really amazing, amazing stuff going on. Um, yeah. Let me just check. I want to see if there's any significant star placements. Um, Yeah, Mercury's not too close to Algol right now. I mean, not too far, but not too super close. Oh, Jupiter is conjunct Aldebaran, Aldebaran, however you pronounce it, Aldebaran. By a little over 1 degree. That's interesting. South node, Alcade, Cade, not super close. Um, I mean, nothing major. I mean, there's this Mars conjunct Procyon. I don't really know much about this. Those Mercury conjunct Vega. Anyway, all right. So that's pretty much it, guys. Um, I mean, mind-blowing, epic stuff. You can see how all the stars are aligning um together to make this like a time of profound change. And I'm like, hallelujah, thank God we got Trump instead of the the cackler. She's like the latest supervillain, the cackler, right? But anyway. Um, yeah, good things are coming. Good. These are all good things. And if you think it's not, it's just because you're too easily manipulated by mainstream media. Like stop believing in mainstream media. Like whatever the mainstream media says, it's the opposite. Whatever Fauci says, it's the opposite. Whatever the WHO says, it's the opposite. Whatever people at Davos say, it's the opposite. Right? So I mean that's just like basic rule. Whatever Bill Gates says, it's the opposite. Whatever George Soros says, it's the opposite. So if you find yourself agreeing with Davos and Bill Gates and Klaus Schwab and um, you know, Barack Obama and all these other people in the mainstream media, you're on the side of like the um, you know, what the evil these are evil people, like they're not the counterculture, they're trying to co-opt the counterculture, but they're evil people who make good use of useful idiots, right? So don't be a useful idiot for the evil Satanists, the New World Order, global satanic globalists, right? That's what they are. So anyway, guys, that's it for now. um yeah. What a time to be alive. Really amazing stuff. Epic stuff. Make Gaza great again. And yeah, hit that like button, subscribe, share, book a reading with me, yahoo.com. And sorry I haven't been making a lot of videos. It's like I'm going through my own transition. Part of me died recently, like just die, like just dead, like just gave up. And it's a good thing. Like I'm becoming some new, becoming a new person. So that's good. Anyway, I'll see you again soon. All right, thanks. Bye.